Hey again, everybody. Rob Milford in Orlando, Greg Fink, Gainesville, Scott Miller, Pensacola. We are the Political Matrix, and this is our blogcast. We're doing this on Tuesday. This would be the 26th. Yes, I knew there was something important to it. We are just shy of Easter, and I got to tell you, here in Orlando, spring break is going full tilt boogie. And I'm sorry if you had it last week and couldn't get down here, but that's the way it goes. Greg, what's hot and exciting in Gainesville these days?
In Gainesville, we have a lot of interesting new campaigns popping up. We have some interesting stuff with the Newberry election going on. Actually, the High Springs election going on today, and also about some issues with some of the people who are told to have how far to step back. We're noticing there's different feet for Democrat precincts than there were for Republican precincts. And so there's a little bit disparaging stuff there, and people are starting to talk about it now and bring it up instead of just letting it go by the wayside. And so it's getting pretty interesting over here.
Scott, on the far end of the western frontier.
Well, there really ain't a whole lot of election stuff going on right now, although they're really kind of just starting to kick up the local stuff. The national stuff is the national stuff.
Right.
I got to release.
So what was the turnout?
What, the statewide turnout last week for the Florida primary? What'd you say?
Last week against Kimberly County.
Oh,
right.
So I think it's like 18 or 19%, I think.
That's pretty good.
Since none of those people are paying me, I don't pay attention to their elections.
That's actually the best answer for anybody who wants to start getting involved in campaigns.
Absolutely true. Let's see, the other hot story. We're doing this just hours after the Baltimore bridge disaster. And as sad as the loss of, I guess it's 6 lives, those are the guys on the construction crew working on the bridge. I think they're going to find more cars. That's just me.
Right.
And as late as 6 o'clock on Tuesday night, so fully 18 hours after it happened, there was a network reporter standing there on the banks as saying, and the search for survivors continues. Newsflash, dingus. And this is the real problem with television news people. All they know is what they hear in their ear. That's all they know. And I guarantee you this. It would have taken 15 seconds, about as long as it did for me, to look up going, how long can you survive in 50-degree water? Well, the water right now in Baltimore is 47, 48 degrees. I gave him 50. 3 hours. That's it. You're gone. Toast. This is not the Titanic. It's not the North Atlantic, but it is March, and you are in Baltimore, about this far below the Mason-Dixon line. Also, Port of Baltimore, top 15 in the U.S. I've got one survey says it's 11th. One said it was 14th. Okay, it's top 15. 7 ships are on the inner harbor right now. They got to move that bridge before those ships can get out. They've got 8 ships waiting who are now finding out they ain't going to be going to Baltimore. Carnival has to turn one of their ships around and set up an operation in Norfolk, Virginia, which is still probably about 4 hours closer. But they have I think they have this time of year 1 ship. Summer they go to 2 ships, and so that's going to be how long before we get this thing fixed? Anybody want to make a guess? Scott, how about you?
Well, I would say that it's going to take, optimistically, probably 3 weeks to get it cleared. Because they got to come up with a plan, they got to get the plan approved, and they got to get the substantial equipment into position to get it done.
That's about right, 3 to 4 weeks. Because we saw what happened with Skanska down here in the Gulf Coast after a hurricane. Remember, we had all the barges that were not tied to the piers, and the barges got loose, and they went in different random people's yards all across the Gulf Coast. And it took some people about a year to get the barge out of their front yard. And so whenever you're working on maritime issues like that, you have no idea how many barriers there can be in the time frame of putting a plan together. So 3 or 4 weeks is very optimistic if everything goes great of maritime issues and it all depends on how the bridge fell and all the investigation into it. It could be well up to 6 to 12 weeks easily.
Right. Let us recall that it took Joe Biden almost a year to recognize the chemical the train wreck and chemical spill in eastern Ohio.
Yes,
right?
it did.
Took him a year. He was running over people, getting to a microphone today saying, "We are with the people of Baltimore in this tragedy." Hold on a second. We are.
Don't forget about it, though.
Let's see. Oh, yeah, the federal government's going to pay for everything.
And they always do.
I'm like, wait. The ship hit the bridge. What an act of God. Ship hit the bridge. Those 2 pilots on board. And by the way, pilots make a ton of money. If you did not know, to bring a ship into Pensacola, I think it's like $2,500. That's we're using that as an example because we all know that, oh, wait a minute, the sea buoy is there. And even in Scott's, 32-foot runabout, it only takes about 15 minutes. So
although this might not be an act of God, it is an act of government.
The point being, 2 pilots get paid probably $10,000 a piece for taking that ship out. Okay,
right?
They have professional liability insurance. The ship has liability insurance. The company that owns the ship, and for him to say the federal government's going to do it all, I'm like, dude, what? I mean, do we need to have John Morgan? Do we need to have John Morgan go, if your bridge got destroyed, but I'm waiting for that. Now I just said that. I'm waiting for the meme on Facebook. If your bridge got destroyed by somebody's actions, we need to talk. Right, Scott?
Exactly.
Oh, absolutely. And the crazy thing is that, and this is my cynicism. The reason that the news people don't know that people are dead by now is because they don't want to know. What they know is that it's going to take that as long as there's a chance or they can string people along that says there's a chance that someone's still alive and we're looking. Well, that's more drama. So I mean, the old maxim in the media is if it bleeds, it leads. Well, this is prolonging the blood loss.
The bridge was 185 feet high. You're driving in your car, you're 185 feet plus whatever it is from the grate to your head. You're going to drop 18, 19 stories in the blink of an eye. The video is just incredible that it hits, that falls, everything falls. 1, 2, 3, boom, done. And obviously they've got cameras on all of that because it's an important bridge and they pretty much know, but I got to think if there was nobody else killed, that's incredibly lucky. If you got a ship's going to knock down a bridge, boy, I tell you what, 10 till 2 on a Tuesday morning is probably the best time for it. We will see. There have been 35 other bridge disasters over the years. We know the Sunshine Park, the one in Tampa, but that's almost 50 years ago, probably more. And then we had, Interstate 40, eastern Oklahoma. We had in Minnesota. Minnesota had one on Interstate 35. They just had the truck disaster last year. Philadelphia, was that on 95 or 295? And Interstate Bridge, just elevated interstate, just gone. But those 1, 2, 3 right there, not nearly as big as this bridge in Baltimore. Again, the port will be closed, top 15 port. That means economic damage that is going to happen.
Trickle down.
And boy, I tell you what, those ships that are in port, they're waiting for anything to get cleared so they can get out. Because here's the truism. If you have a ship, the only time it makes money is when it's in the ocean. We'll be back. More segments coming up. We'll talk about Matt Gaetz. We'll talk about the economy. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? Plus other gossip news, innuendo, and hearsay. This is the Political Matrix Blogcast.